Hello, I'm going to explain a few antique spectacle ornaments used for the eye test originally, and some antique frames. So I'll start with, I have an antique trial set of lenses. Now some of these lenses are full aperture lenses and some of them are small aperture lenses. Now the small aperture lenses are what it says, they're a small lens. So for example, I have here a -7 and you can see that this is a small aperture lens, and with this one you'll see that it has a casing around the outside and a small lens in the middle. This is a full aperture lens, and as you can see here, it's just the metal case to hold the lens, and then it's a full size lens. In the earlier eye tests, they used full aperture lenses as the main lens of choice. As we went on into later years, they started to use the smaller aperture lenses because they would then be a lot thinner lens and take up less room in the case and easier to slip in and out of a trial frame. Now I've got here an antique trial frame. This is called a half-eye trial frame, and as you can see here, it's got a little well where you drop the lenses in at the bottom, and you can also slot a reading lens in across the front. So you can put a lens in at the front there, followed by a second lens at the back. This might be a cylinder lens, and you would adjust the lens to get the angle on the frame. Whilst you've got that lens in, them little hooks at the front, you would slot in a reading lens to find out the reading prescription. The bridge is fully adjustable. This particular button on the top was to adjust the crest angle of the bridge, so that if somebody's got a protruding nose, you can bring the frame in so that you get this set accurately. You've also got an adjustment for the pupil distance and for the bridge height. The next item to show you is an antique ophthalmoscope. When they ask you to look at the lens, so they'll come up really close and they will check, and then they'll ask you to look up, look down, look left and look right, and what they're doing is examining the inside of your eye. Next I'm going on to some antique spectacle frames. With these frames, what we've got here, the first one I'm going to show you is a Savile Row sports frame. It's actually a rimless, and I'll show you how it's determined to be a rimless. So what you've got is nothing to hold the lens at all except one screw. This has got a gold casing at the front and at the back, and you would drill a hole through the lens and that would hold the lens into place. Now that would make it very, very fragile. So in this case they've actually got the gold case, the gold frame going across the top of the frame. Now the advantage of this is that if the frame gets knocked, it's the frame itself that gets knocked, not the lens. If the lens was knocked, then the frame wouldn't be there to protect it, and it would actually smash the lens. So this is actually hallmarked on the bridge at 14 karat gold. The next one I'm going to show you is a matte silver frame. This one dates around 1942, and the first thing I'm going to show you on this is it's got curl sides, which is what they always had. This predates the National Health Service frames, and I think these were used as some of the first NHS frames. Now this one has got its sizes stamped on the bridge. It's got a curl side, so this would actually wrap around your ear, and to put the lens into the frame once it's been cut, you would undo 2 screws on the side. These would be, one holds the side on, the other one opens up the frame completely, so you can slip the lens in and then put the lenses in. This next frame is a little bit different to what you've seen before. This particular one doesn't have any sides. You would attach a chain to this loop and have that round your neck, and you would let this hang, and in fact it hangs folded up. To use it, you open it up as far as it would go, and then you put it in front of your eyes, and it's good for reading. And again, this one is pretty old, and actually it's hallmarked as well, just across here. So this one is probably about 12 karat gold. The next one is a sports type of frame. And with this particular one, you'll notice that instead of having a hockey end side or a curl side, it's got 2 little loops. With this, you would attach a cord or a chain into these loops. You'd place it onto your head. The cord and chain will go behind your ears and hang down, so if the frame slipped forward, you wouldn't lose the frame. They were all made quite narrow, so that when you've got a high prescription, there wasn't the high index lenses that make them go thinner that there are now. So when the lenses were put into this, they would end up quite thick if they were a large lens shape. And finally, I've got another one. This particular one is a little bit different again. This again has no sides to it. It's a gold frame. It's a rimless, so it's got the screws to fasten it together here, but this one has a loop chain, a chain and a loop at the side, so the loop would fasten behind your ear and the frame would hang down. When you wanted to read, you would pick the frame up and place it on your nose. With this particular one, it has metal pads, but because they're a precious metal, they are nice and soft on the nose. And you can see here the cases. They're very small cases, and they just about accommodate such small frames. Next off, I've got a series of frames which they're illegal to be used now as ophthalmic frames, but people still treasure them. These were made from the 1920s till 1972, when they became illegal to be used. They're made of a special material, turtle shell, and they were generally made from the hornbill turtle. Now, this particular one has got what's called a keystone bridge. This was designed as the most comfortable bridge shape. There is something you will notice with them. They look like a plastic, but they're actually real turtle shell. The keystone bridge was designed so that it would fit any bridge shape. You can see by the way I'm just twisting my finger around in there that it actually accommodates any bridge. This material goes very brittle if it's not stored correctly, but it's also designed so that it can be, I say designed, it is also a material that can be repaired quite easily using a lot of hot water and steam and tying it together, and it will fuse itself back together again. A little bit more complicated than I make it sound, but in general you can have a repair that looks virtually invisible. So that's the keystone bridge. This next one is not quite so round. This particular one has got a very wide bridge, and it's a little bit larger lens shape. The bridge is designed to sit a long way out, so if you've got a raised crown, it will sit onto your nose comfortably, which a lot of them didn't do. And the next one I have is the wraparound side. So you can see here it comes out and then wraps in. So this doesn't tuck behind your ears. This one just sits straight across your head, a bit like the modern day Oakley frame. And again, it's a round eye and it has a raised crown on the bridge. Now the last turtle shell frame I've got is a little bit more special. This is called a half glaze frame. So what you've got, you'd have no lens at all in this top half, and you would have your reading prescription in this bottom half. So you could say it's like the antique version of a bifocal. So your reading prescription would be here, your distance there, or no prescription there, so you'd be able to see in the distance and you'd be able to read something close up and not have to take your glasses off to do so. Thank you.